Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, it's been a minute, but we're back. I am Jen. This is Adarian. This is the season three Let Me Introduce You podcast. And I know you're all on pins and needles waiting to hear what the topic is going to be. I was on pins and needles until about 2 minutes ago when the topic was introduced to me. So,
Why did we go to season 5?
because I think that would be skipping ahead like 2 seasons.
Who knows?
That's
Like we got them faithful followers. Like, man, y'all been missing for a couple of seasons. I really noticed it. Hey, when you making it up, make it up. Don't.
well, with all the other podcasts out there, our small little niche group of listeners, yeah.
They've been waiting on this. They've been sitting. When they coming back on?
When do they drop in
Yeah.
there? Yeah, season three.
Season 3.
Ah, but we're here with season three, episode one, the disillusion of weightlifting and how the industry has kind of shifted to where it is now. Right?
That's where you're gonna leave it at. You gonna leave it
So
at
I'm going to
like
leave it
that?
at. I'm just going to drop that and I'm going to let you talk.
You know what ChatGTP says about us.
What is ChatGPT about us?
Then I have to let you look it up. Hey, that's the thing. Like ChatGTP knows about us, but they check ChatGTP, see what season we're supposed to be on. It'll tell us.
It would probably tell us. And I'm probably wrong. We're probably are supposed to be on like season four, but we're going with
Ah,
season three.
oh man, oh man. So this whole let's just go back in this out. Like weightlifting is supposed to be the cure all, the end all, the be all.
But since who and based on when? Because I was actually just doing research on like core, the term core, and that was supposed to be cure all, end all be all.
Well, I mean, you got to go back to, okay, how do we get to the cure all, end all, be all?
Right.
What brought us to this point? And so let's start with bodybuilding first of all,
Yes.
you know, and so let's start there with bodybuilding, and then because people wanted to do what? Look good. If you look good, you feel good, and so people look good but didn't feel good.
And that started, I mean, because bodybuilders were really, I know we've talked about this before, but they were really the ones that sort of popularized gyms and physical culture in the United States, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you go to Gold's Gym, I mean, Gold's Gym kind of cracked it all off.
Yeah.
But where did Gold's Gym come from? Bodybuilding,
Bodybuilding, for sure. Yeah.
and they had some equipment to sell and all that kind of stuff. And remember, Gold's Gym was exclusive. I mean, like anybody couldn't, it was like, ooh, uh, uh, and everything. So, and then you think about what came along, you had Jackie Lane come along, you had,
Yeah.
aerobics come along, you had Jane Fonda come along, and so you got to look at even like with Jane Fonda when they came along and ESPN when they first came along, there's a lot of aerobics type stuff, That's when Reebok, the step aerobics, all that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Richard
But
Simmons, with
I,
jazzercise
I mean,
and
think about that. Somebody like Richard Simmons was a leading fitness expert,
yes.
you know, and so you go and he didn't lift weights. He didn't even, he just, he was he looked goofy.
When he owned the persona,
Yeah.
like he like leaned into it and he inspired all kinds of people to get off the couch, which I think is great.
Yeah. Well, that's always the thing, where even look at remember Susan Powder stopped the insanity,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
so we have all these things going on where let's go back to the weightlifting thing, and then weightlifting wasn't doing it. So then we have this aerobic thing, we have this thing not doing it, whatever it doing it was supposed to do,
Right.
and so now, you come back to the situation where, like I said, why people are disillusioned, because they thought this was a good thing,
Mhm.
and then we come out with the Pilates, then we come out with the, then we come out with the, and then we come out with the, and then we come out with the, and everything was supposed to be better than the last thing.
Well, and it's so interesting because Pilates, his stuff became popular in New York City in the 30s, but then didn't really like blow up
Yeah,
from a media perspective until the mid 90s. And to your
yeah.
point, yeah, it was because people were starting to get disillusioned with the bodybuilding that had taken over in the 80s.
So yeah, and so I remember when you remember the movie Puppy Nine when it came out, da da da, and so and at one point in time, I remember athletes didn't lift weights.
Right.
And
Athletes did
once
their sports and they conditioned, but they didn't lift
lift
weights.
weights, they didn't really lift weights.
Yeah.
And so and then you had the thing with I think Nebraska came along, college, and they had this $1 million weight room way back in the day, before anybody else had this type of thing. And you had college weight rooms, but now you had these guys, you know,
Right.
and everybody's like, ooh, and so you get into this thing where they associated the $1 million weight room to the success of Nebraska, not to they just had good athletes and they had a good scheme,
Hmm.
you know, type thing. You get somebody like a Bo Jackson who says, I didn't lift no weights. I just messed with my neck and kept it moving,
Yeah.
and so but they don't tell that part of it. But he's in the weight room, so they look, Bo Jackson's in the weight room, you know. And so that he becomes part of the story of the disillusion too, where people say Bo Jackson didn't wait, so why should I?
Yeah.
So it even for me, even coming through it when I came through in high school, where kids that are not as good as me play before me because they're in the weight room.
Mm.
You're working hard, and that association with lifting and working hard that you're doing something hard and everything, but that's more of an American construct. This weightlifting thing, I don't think is big across the planet because everybody else, as far as I know, is active. You look at other cultures, they're active already, whether it's organized, getting people in gymnastics, kids in gymnastics at an early age, you know, playing different types of sports, water sports, board sports, whatever it is. Most other cultures are active. They walk a lot. They don't have the cars. And so we have this thing of inactivity, and it's like bodybuilding is supposed to save us from this inactivity.
Well, and I think we've talked about this before, but I know when I was in Bulgaria and then when I was in Germany, they have sports parks,
Yeah,
right? Where they're just calisthenic stations, but
right.
people use them. People go and they, use them as pull-up bars, as dip bars, as, different ways to navigate their body around them. And it's kind of a playful, I mean, yes, it's work, but you're outside, it's fun.
So
It's
yeah. And so that used to be the key word calisthenics,
right.
where calisthenics, even if you go back to, early days of PE in high school, it was calisthenics based,
Mhm.
and then it moved more and more, towards weightlifting base and everything. But and then now in some places it's just once again the disillusion of they don't do anything. I know some high schools where hey, just go walk 2 miles, you okay? Like that's all we're gonna just we're not gonna do the you know. So you get into this situation where weightlifting was supposed to end all be all, see all, cure all, and it didn't happen. And so now we have all these other things coming out. Whatever people's talking about, tendons, elasticity, this, that, it goes on and on and on, you know. Um, and even like, back in the day of, bigger, stronger, faster, just get stronger. You'll get, just get stronger, you'll get faster, you'll get bigger, you know, get stronger, you could get bigger, you could get faster. But they were saying that's the end all be all. And so that
Right.
phase that came and went again, where everybody bought into this system. And then like, okay, so if every single high school is doing the system, where's the advantage again?
Yeah.
When it comes back down to if I got better players than you, I just got better players than you. And so across the sports board, even you look at how much do gymnasts lift? How much do tennis players lift? How much do these, and so you see these guys, they're part of the disillusion too. Gee, they don't lift. Look at them. So then they make up something else. Well, it must be the fascia. Well, it must be
Right.
they have good elasticity. Well, it must be, and then we bake in the injury issues, where
Right.
5% of the population gets hurt, 95% doesn't, but we cater to the 5%, you know. So weightlifting was supposed to be that thing to prevent your injuries. If you get strong, you won't get hurt. So once again, the disillusion. So now we have this prehab, rehab, all this stuff because once again, weightlifting do the job it's supposed to do.
Right.
You know, and so, but we still taking away from the actual thing of doing something. I wonder, like I said, I wonder if we look at, you know, knee replacement, hip replacement, and arthritis in the U.S. versus other countries.
Mhm.
And I just wonder, I wonder what the numbers will come out to say. You know,
I've actually
uh,
looked at this. We in England, we tend to have very similar numbers with those things.
yeah,
And then it tends to be a little bit less with other countries. I would have to confirm that, and I will for next
yeah,
time, but that's what I've
yeah.
seen before.
And then I would look into, activity levels of the population,
Right.
and I bet you're gonna find a connection somewhere.
Yeah.
That if and they say it, we talk about, movement is lotion or whatever they want to say,
Right.
but you're already moving for the most part, just like when, somebody runs fast and it's the skinniest kid,
Mhm.
you know, and then they say, well, as soon as they put some muscles on him, as soon as he starts lifting, he get
Right.
fast, and then he lifts, he doesn't get any fast, so we in this dissolution again.
Right.
As soon as he puts something on his frame, as soon as he put that muscle on his frame, as soon as he grows out in that body, as soon as he,
Right. Well, I know it's interesting because you sent me the recent world championships for track and field, right? How the
yeah,
Kenyans won all the
oh
middle
yeah,
distances and above, right? If I recall
yeah,
correctly,
800 and up,
800 and up.
yeah,
And
on the women's side,
which is amazing.
yeah,
And I've read a little bit about how they train over there. And yes, they go into the gym, but they're not doing anything heavy. And I
yeah,
would venture to say that if a standard strength and conditioning coach went into their gym, he or she would probably really try to clean up, I'm using air quotes, some of their form.
yeah. So, well, I mean, it's funny. Muscles do, one thing only. They do one thing, and then we gave them this superpower. If you just make it stronger, it'll do all these wonderful things for you.
Right.
And so the system's been knocked out where we can do this one thing for these muscles, and so now we disillusion again,
Mhm.
because now people are saying other stuff, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to prep the tissue, you got to, and you're thinking like, and because think about some of these movements, like back squat, a full back squat,
Right.
So, and let's take, and this is what you got to think about. This is what you got to think about. This is what you got to think about. So let's take knees over toes,
Mhm.
you know. Now, what's his claim about fully folding up at the knee joint?
I'm gonna have to let you answer this because you know far more about knees over toes than I do.
Well,
I mean,
he's
I
making
know that
certain
he's
claim. He makes certain claims about resiliency, tendons,
right.
what. Okay,
And
so what's
the
the,
knees need to go over the toes. That's his whole thing, right? The knees need to go over the toes.
but this is the whole thing. Like we keep talking about. When the knee joint is fully folded, it's fully folded.
Mhm.
What's the difference between a full squat where the knee is fully folded and knees over toes where it's fully folded? You had to squat in both those situations.
Right.
The
Right.
only thing that changed what happens at the ankle joint. See, that's the
Ankle.
funny part. The only thing that changes what happened at the ankle joint, but what
Right.
happened at the knee joint is the same in either situation. That's the funny part, and that's the disillusion that we've gone for, where we came and realized, like, hey, a fully folded knee is a fully folded knee. A
Yeah.
fully folded elbow is a fully folded elbow.
Right.
So you go through these things of, we so upset with weightlifting that we're gonna, you know, and everything. But the only thing changed what happened at the ankle joint.
Right.
The knee joint is still did, like I said, the muscle still did what they had to do in either situations. Because why? Because it's a squatted position. It's a folded
Right.
up position. That's what I keep talking about. A lot of these words we're using to get rid of. Either it's folded or it's not folded.
Yeah.
Just like when people say, I'm going to strengthen my hamstring at length.
Right.
Once again, I'm going to strengthen this hamstring at length. And you go, okay, what does that mean at length?
Right.
What does that mean? But here once again, this weightlifting thing is supposed to be end all cure all, and then it came up with Nordics,
Hmm.
which is not strength and length,
Right. Right.
because it's other thing, the RDLs, because those was been the RDLs, they're not working, you know,
Right.
and everything. What happened to, a leg curl, which start off with the hamstring fully lengthened and the lows is heaviest at that point in time.
Yeah.
So we are already doing these things with, and so, strength at length, but then they said, hey, let's do this isometric now because we
Right.
disillusion again, you know, and so you could easily done an ISO on the leg curl machine, just load the shit up but you'll find out that what something's gonna pop,
Right. Right. It's not
you
going to
know,
feel good.
something's not gonna feel good.
Yeah.
So we get into these things once again where we become disillusioned with this, even though it's the same. Like I said, if you do a bicep curl and you do a pull up, what happened at the knee elbow joint? It folded up.
It's folded. Yeah.
It folded up. You
Yeah.
know, and so the same thing when you uncurl the arm in the bicep curl and you uncurl the arm. See, I'm gonna use the word curl, uncurl because it's the same. It's the same movement pattern,
Right.
but we gave movement with weight some special power and let all this other stuff go. you know. And so that's always the funny part to me and then we become disillusioned with something else and something else and something else. When it's like, hey, that elbow joint and that knee joint, or that even like the ankle joint now, you know, people we're doing, toe raises, calf raises, whatever they want to call them,
Right.
you know, and all of a sudden they go, ooh, now you got to strengthen what your feet. Now
Right.
you're trying to tell me I just had 500 pounds on my back and this my feet wasn't getting strengthened with trying to handle this 500 pounds on my back.
Right.
I'm doing farmer carries and
Right.
and this is not
Right. Right.
and my feet are not getting any stronger in this whole process,
Yeah.
you know. So that's why, like I said, it's just this big dissolution with this thing, that people put a lot of hope and glory into, and all of a sudden it worked like they should have worked. But why didn't it work? Because somebody came along, they told you, no, that's not it, you
Right.
know, and everything. And so if you look at, I think even like with knees over toes, and what's the one thing that they, as they bulletproof everything, they said we're gonna bulletproof some stuff, you know, and so that's a weird thing to bulletproof something, because what do you get? Get a bigger bullet.
Right. Right.
I mean, you had bulletproof glass until I got a bigger bullet.
Right. Right. Well, and I always wonder, like, if instead of focusing so much on how to prevent injury, if we just said, okay, how can we just make someone move more and, move efficiently and focus on technique? Like, what would the carryover be with that? And then on top of it, like, how much weight does somebody actually need to be able to lift? Like, those are the questions I always wrestle with.
Well, let's like I said, why do people get into bodybuilding in the first place? They want to look better,
Right.
So a lot of this, we already have we have a mental issue already.
Right.
My confidence is not up, whatever the case may be. I don't look, so I'm gonna, and everything. And so you go through this process of, you know, now all of a sudden I'm lifting the weights and I still don't feel better.
Right.
I mean, we see the excitement that they give, man, I PR, wow, yeah, 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 yeah. Then you go into your life and it sucks,
Mhm.
but I PR, yeah, but your life sucks. And you got all this pain and you da da da. You don't play any better. You don't do anything better. So I think, once again, we go back to this thing of, what do we want physical activity to do for us? That's the first
Right.
thing.
Right.
What do you want physical activity to do for us? Let's just call that. No matter what you're doing, is a physical activity. Whether it's
Yeah.
lifting weights, whether it's yoga, whether it's skateboarding, what do we
Right.
want this physical activity to do for us? I mean, And so I think that's the main thing is like, we have all these different physical, like pickleball. Why is pickleball so popular now? I mean, think
I
about
love
that.
it. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the community aspect.
And boom, there you go.
Like same with like Richard Simmons and all these other like the aerobics and stuff.
And
Like
boom, there you
it's,
go.
we
There
want
you
to be
go.
with other people. We're social creatures.
Yeah. Well, not just you. Well, and as we said, we look at these other things, other countries where, they have this social thing where everybody's in the park doing something,
Right.
da 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 da. And then, like I said, what was Gold's Gym? Gold's Gym was exclusive. Country
And it
clubs are
was,
exclusive.
and it's social. You go in there, you see your
You know,
buddies. You're like, oh,
right,
cool. We're
right,
gonna lift
right,
together.
right, right. At one point in time, basketball is social. You go to the
Right.
park, you got instant
Yeah.
friends,
Play a
instant
pickup
friends.
game.
Play pickup
Totally.
game, instant friends, and stuff like that. And so you go back to PE, and why do people get frowned on PE? Because PE was a divider, in a sense, because they didn't put balls on the court, told kids go play. But
Right.
we're gonna get teams.
Yeah.
So now this basic physical activity that we become disillusioned with because, oh, and everything. And so we go back to this thing of, yeah, it's supposed to be social. So what are people disillusioned about? The social aspect of it. It didn't
Yeah.
it didn't give them what they thought it was going to give them from, I'm lift this weight, I'm being in this community, but these communities are always going to be divided no matter, because now they're divided upon, the rules,
Right.
you know. I don't want you in my community. So that's not how you do that squat. That's not how you do
Right.
that. So now let's invent some other stuff, and everything. You look at, a lot of these different things. Zumba. Why is Zumba so popular? Social.
So social. And who doesn't like to listen to Latin African music and dance with
Right,
their buddies? It's
right,
like
right. Social.
it's
But
like
people
line
used to,
dancing. People get into line dancing with the country music and it's,
yeah. And what do people used to do? Go to the clubs,
yeah, exactly.
but they stopped going to clubs, so we got to do something else now.
Yeah.
So once again, if we just go back to this word, physical activity, if the goal is just to have some type of physical activity in your life, you know, but then at the same time, if we do that, people can't make money.
Right.
I mean, because you got to go back to the day as kids, you got three friends, you went to the park with one glove, one ball, and one bat.
Hmm.
You had some type of physical activity,
Yeah.
where one person's pitching to the other, one's in the middle of the field someplace. Then they switch positions. Then they switch, you know,
Yeah.
and so then all of a sudden you stop doing that when you join the team.
Right.
You know, one thing I like about, you think about, I think about some of these sports, like you look at women's sports or female sports, girl sports, whatever you want to call it. You know, uh, oh, am I still here?
You're still here. I still see you.
Okay, so what happens is there anybody can play.
Hmm.
Look at girls volleyball. It doesn't matter shape, size, anything. You know, you look at men's sports, and everybody can play.
Right.
Certain men's sports, track and field, anybody can do track and field. So there's certain sports that anybody can do it. Just go
Right.
out there. We got track and field, got 21 events. We'll find one for you.
Yeah.
You know, Same thing with things like tennis. Anybody can play tennis. They pick up right, hit the ball.
Right.
So you look at some of these things, but then you get to the men's side, and once again, it's not there.
Hmm.
So, uh, uh, but and it's weird that women don't carry that more often because, like I said, they gotten involved in sports and these physical activity things, and like I said, anybody can play volleyball, anybody can play basketball. Any women, females never said you had to be a certain size. You had to look
Right.
a certain way to be involved in this physical activity. On the men's side, you had to, you know,
Although there are some like gymnastics is very aesthetics based.
no, but
Ballet is very aesthetics
it
based.
it may be aesthetics based, but anybody can do it. Anybody can. They don't. If you want to perform at a professional level, that's a different story.
Right. Okay, I get what you're saying. Gotcha,
See what
gotcha,
I'm saying?
gotcha. Okay,
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you walked into a gymnastics center and you were 5 feet 400 pounds, they would still help you out.
They totally would. With open
You
arms.
know,
They'd be like, yeah,
if you was
let's
if you
yeah,
were 7 feet, weighed 100 pounds, they would help you out.
yeah. It's
Now
true.
go to the football field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now go, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, at this, because we talk about just physical activity.
Right.
And so you go, as we grow up, as we grow up, what happens to this whole physical activity thing again? That we
Right.
migrate from, this thing to just this weight thing.
Yeah.
Look at CrossFit. Once again, it's a community and
Yeah.
everything like that. But it's look what happened. You know, Now look what mud runs.
Yeah.
Look at. So you have some things going on once again where you go, how do we become disillusioned with this movement thing in a
Hmm.
sense? Because like I said, weightlifting is physical activity,
Right.
like all the other physical activities, and stuff. And I keep talking about, how people want to be popular,
Hmm.
you know, because look at the baby stroller mile now.
Right.
Every week
What did
somebody,
he do? 432 or something? It was fast. I was
but
like, oh my
he doesn't hold it anymore.
God. Okay.
Every week somebody is, you know, and you think about, like you said, pushing and running with a stroller isn't that new. Mom's been doing it forever.
Right.
Mom's been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's what's funny. Like, say, when you look at the female side of it, you know, where they say, no, I'm just gonna take the baby with me. I'm going on my walk, push it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna start jogging, whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden the kids come with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so when do we get disillusioned with this physical activity thing, the free stuff, you know, and we migrated towards this other thing, then we became disillusioned with that, and now we have all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
That becomes the question of the day,
I don't
you
have
know.
an answer.
So I don't have an answer either, because what was going on in our life that we needed all these different types of things when we talk about physical activity. And then, like I say, everything's a physical activity. Anything pretty much, versus exercise becomes something that's scheduled and planned.
Right.
So
Right.
people probably thinking like, huh? Yeah, so, you know, me going to the basketball court and shooting baskets by myself is a physical activity.
Right.
Why do I need to plan that?
Right.
Why can't I just pick up the ball, go to the basketball court? Why can't I just go outside my front driveway and just start dribbling a basketball?
Right.
So why, what happened that we became disillusioned with the physical activity that we went to exercise and now become disillusioned in exercise?
Yeah. Well, because, and there's a lot of things that play with that, but I do think part of it is the media saying that exercise, you must get a certain amount of exercise each week to be
Yeah,
healthy, right? You get all these like messages. And then if you're a woman, if you're not lifting weights and loading your bones, you're going to get osteoporosis. And if you fall, you're going to end up on bed rest. And,
yeah, yeah. So I mean, now you got pictures of 90-year-old grandmas trying to, deadlift 500 pounds. Why?
that's what I always, I'm like, oh, how much does a person really need? Like,
So yeah, and once again, what happened? Like I said, what happened that we became disillusioned with this thing over here to migrate towards this thing over here?
right.
What happened? That that I left this thing for this weightlifting thing, and now I'm
Yeah.
disillusioned with the weightlifting thing because I'm doing all this other stuff now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's all. Yeah, disillusion. And like I said, it's like I said, just that one thing, just the whole Ben over Patrick thing had me cracking up because the only thing that's happening was the ankle joint. The only thing happening
Mhm.
was the ankle joint. The knee joint was still been fully, the hip joint, the knee joint was still been fully flexed, in a full squat, and so how he changed was I'm gonna have moving at the ankle joint. And
Right.
that was supposed to improve everything at the knee joint.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like you didn't get. So I see the thing on the attention thing, right? Where the person's talking about time on attention is not the key.
Yes. Yes.
And then what did she mention as the key?
I
Why?
watched the
Because
whole
she
video too.
she she did the pencil demonstration. And what did she say? This is time on attention. Technically that's not time on attention. Just moving is not
Oh,
time on attention. See, that's what I'm saying.
oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
moving. If once again, if time and attention was just moving,
Right.
well, we'd be the biggest people ever.
Yeah.
But then she came back to mechanical tension. So time under mechanical tension. Either way, it's time under tension.
Either way,
If
it's
you
time
want
under
to,
tension. Yeah.
either way, it's time under tension. She just put the word mechanical in there. And
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that's funny. I missed
just
that.
moving is not time under tension.
Yeah.
But she made it sound like, this is time and attention. No, that's not. That's just so yeah. But that was funny. I thought it was funny. But and then she slipped the word mechanical tension back in there. Didn't you just put tension back in here somewhere?
That's funny.
I got a barking dog over here that's been.
It's getting filtered out really well. You have to hand it to the Zoom filters and the headphones.
So
And
yeah, but that's the thing, and I think I hope people, just like I said, let's not even get into the business of moving better, anything like that.
right.
Let's get back into the business of people pick up a physical activity. You go have some
Well,
fun.
go have some fun. Go be with other people or by yourself if that's what you like, whatever, But yeah, go get
You
outside.
know, yeah, I mean that's like when I got invited to play pickleball. You know,
Right.
and like I said, because I'm a loner in a sense. We need to get him over here. I'm fine over here because I'm doing my physical activity thing. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm social enough because you're noticing me. Okay, cool, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was playing tennis last week. I was playing tennis by myself last week, and the guy was like, "Hey, man, you got another racket? I'll play with you. I'm good. I'm good."
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, but same thing. Like I said, and I didn't go play because it's like, nah, that ain't that's not my physical activity thing.
Which is
You know,
totally fair. Yeah.
yeah, it's not my physical activity thing. So and I think that would be like I think that's the thing too is that we need to break this back down to people. Physical activity is all you need. You don't need
Yeah.
exercise. You need physical activity.
Physical activity solves a lot.
So, and you need a physical activity on top of your daily physical activities. That's
What
the message they should be giving. Is because if you're a window washer, you got some activity coming.
you've got some activity. Yeah.
You know, if back in the old days, remember the guy doing the garbage pickup? He had to pick up
Yeah.
this thing, toss this thing.
Yep.
The construction worker, he got some physical activity, walking, stooping, bending, hammering things. They got physical activity.
Yeah. Even like the mail carrier when you used to
Mail
carry the
carrier,
bag,
got
like, yeah.
got to get in this vehicle, out of this vehicle, pick this bag, open this thing, close this thing,
Yeah.
stoop down, pick up a package. So that should have been the message more than anything else is hey, you need some additional physical activity on top of your daily physical activities,
Yeah.
you know. And if that's weightlifting, so be it. But then
Totally.
if weightlifting becomes a physical activity, then I don't have to pay for the instructions.
Right.
Just go in the gym and do whatever.
Right.
If you want to lift it this way, if you want to do it this way, whatever you want to do, just go do.
Yes. But people are worried about hurting themselves.
You know, and that becomes a thing. Why would physical activity hurt you?
Right. Well, I don't know. I do like ropes and silks and pull. And if you get into a position that's not ideal,
Like anything,
yeah,
like
it's
anything. If I swing the bat wrong, it's going to be.
true.
But isn't that part of the learning process?
It's definitely part of, I've
That
learned
that that
more from messing up in all of those disciplines than I have
yeah
from succeeding.
yeah. So that becomes part of the physical activity learning process.
Yeah.
I mean, first time. I mean, look at skateboarding.
Oh yeah,
How many mistakes they make before we figure this out.
totally.
But they have this physical activity thing going, and so yeah, part of yeah, you're gonna make some mistakes, but still, once again, you know, go do some stuff,
Totally. I agree. I'm all for it.
and then I think if that happens, then people won't have the disillusion anymore.
Yeah.
Then they'll see weightlifting what it's for. Oh, it's a physical activity. They'll
Right.
see aerobics what it's for. Oh, it's a physical activity. And then they'll see some of these things like in the gym. Gym is an isolated physical activity where you're in the gym with a community,
Hmm.
but you're by
But you're
yourself.
by yourself. Yeah.
Versus you take a spin class. Now you're doing an activity with some other folks doing the same, da da da
Yeah.
da da da. So it's two ways, like I said, me, other people at the park. So I'm a part of the social group anyways. We at the park social group. We don't have to interact,
Totally.
but we all at the park feeling off the energy of the other person that's at the park.
Yep. It's true.
But I think that becomes a thing of and back in the early days, we didn't need extra physical activity.
Right.
If you were farming, you were farming and actually doing, picking the cotton, tomatoes, grapes, whatever the case may be, you had to go rest up from that.
Totally. It
There,
was
there was
super
there was there,
physical.
yeah, there was no more like I'm gonna go do something after this. Nah, I'm getting me
Yeah.
a beer and call it done.
Totally.
So we don't have those type of jobs anymore, chopping trees, picking apples, whatever the case may be. We don't, because everything, even on the assembly line now, they have what? Robots to help you.
Yes. Yeah.
So you don't physically lift this part anymore. Something's helping you. So in that sense, we do need to increase our what? Physical activity outside of daily because it's not the same anymore.
Right.
But I think, yeah, if we just saw weightlifting for what it was as a physical activity, step aerobics as just a physical activity, all these things are just physical activities. I think that would change a whole lot for people, and still they would feel better. All of a sudden, the physical activity alone would help you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Without having to say, I ran 10 miles today. Just go out and run up a tree, run down a tree, run backwards, just run.
I like running.
I didn't say don't run. I just said just go run.
Like,
Even
that's true.
even 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 when we met a long time ago, what was my advice to you about running?
Just run. Like, if you're gonna run for anything, just run for time.
Just run sometimes.
Just
Put a time
run.
on. I'll probably
Yeah.
not even go in 20 minutes and be
Yeah.
done with it.
Yeah. It's true.
You know, okay, I've been running for 10 minutes. I'm gonna go back the other way for 10 minutes. I'm done.
Yeah.
Versus I
How
gotta
many
make this
miles did
mile.
they do? Yeah.
How fast did I do this? See, once again, we become disillusioned.
Yeah.
Something else is going on. So yeah, that's all I got to say.
That's good. Well, then we've got stuff. First of all, we've got the ankle yielding versus ankle stiffness webinar, which is
Yep.
a which is
Week from
Wednesday,
a week from yesterday.
a week from yesterday at
Yeah.
11:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can check it out on the website.
Yeah.
We've got the unveiling for Las Vegas.
Oh, and I was telling somebody the other day, I said, if I don't tell Jen about this, she can be mad at me.
Okay, what else? I'm ready. I'm all yours. All yours.
No, I'm just going down to SoCal on October 18th.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I told you. I had
So Vegas, the unveiling is in January. We'll have more information about that. But more importantly, what did you learn this week?
to. You know what I learned this week is this here. And it's kind of what I've been saying a long time. Because I saw this video this morning. I saw this video this morning of Noah Lyles. And he was talking about, you know, everything needs to go down the track. Shoulders. He even mentioned the word shin angle needs to go down the track. Momentum needs to go down the track. And that's what we've been telling these people the whole time. Everything needs to go down the track. And he says this in the air thing, this da 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 thing, that's not where the energy needs to go. So he said the word energy too. So once again, it's about energy and stuff like that. But it comes back to the same thing, the disillusion. Great description for how you do that.
Okay.
So why do people? So people have disillusion with this stuff because they have great descriptions but no instructions.
Right.
So You told me to go run, a run didn't work out. You told me if
Yeah.
I do these drills didn't work out. Told me my weightlifting didn't work out. Told me. And nobody never goes, hey, just like I said to Ben Patrick and these are things in weightlifting. These are doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
They doing the exact same. One thing changed with the ankle joint.
Yeah.
So yeah, so people never got instructions. Great description, but no instructions.
Yeah.
You know. And so yeah, so that's what I just still harp on that. The instructions are poor. Descriptions are good, instructions are poor.
Yeah.
But these physical activities.
Ah,
What did you learn this week?
I learned about the Gen Z stare.
Oh, what's that?
So I've noticed this trend when I go to coffee shops and different places where people are serving me and they're young people, like people in their 20s.
Yeah.
They don't, there's a lack of smiling and a lack of engagement. And I'm like, is this just me? Like, is this like, I don't know, like this seems new. So I
No,
did some
you're not
reading
a
about it.
phone.
So it's got a name. Like people have termed it. It's the Gen Z gaze or the Gen Z stare.
Yeah, because they want to be staring at their phone.
So that was fascinating to me that this
Oh,
is a
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, you're not a phone. Hey, next time you go in a coffee shop, just snap your hands and go shape of a phone.
Well, I'm pretty lucky actually. The coffee shop I go to pretty regularly, they're very like they're
Yeah,
great in there. But
yeah,
a lot of the other
yeah.
coffee shops, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, because they're the same folks that try to engage you while they're still on their phone. Can I take your order? And they're still on their phone. So that's the stare they're giving you. Is you're taking me away from this imaginary phone that's not even in my hand anymore.
Well, or they don't even ask you what you want. They just look at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, like you see me, right? Like you want to just
Yeah.
ask. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here, right? Like that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. I just call
so
that, East Coast rudeness. I just call it East Coast rudeness has come along.
uh,
That's my first introduction to the East Coast was that where we walk into track team. We walk into this. We're in Philadelphia. And we go into this place to get milkshakes. And the person standing behind the counter, we looking at them, they looking at us. We looking at them, they looking at us. You know.
all right. So this is the
Eh,
thing. Like I just like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
learning, you know.
And so yeah, and then it's like then so we say, hey, we want to get some milkshakes. And they say I can only make one at a time. It's like 10 of us in the group. I go, I just call it East Coast rudeness. That's all.
Okay. See, I'm learning different generational and cultural phenomena. So that's what I
Yeah,
learned this week.
yeah, craziness and stuff. So yeah, but so yeah, so that's what we got. So that's it. But this other thing too. So this other thing too. And I think we need to speak on this whole killing thing going on. We're gonna either get banned by the FCC or somebody gonna tap our phones. And one of the things, like you said, I always talk about is this here. And like I said, and it goes along the line with the disillusion of America. And that's the biggest problem right now. The disillusion of America. As we talk about, because America promised certain things, it's not delivering right now. So people are upset, and that's why they go in here and go in there and go into all these other things. America told me if I work hard, I would be prosperous, and I'm not. America told me I was better than this person, but how come they're more prosperous than me? You know, America told me. So now people are really disillusioned. I mean, no matter what color you are, you're disillusioned. Whether you immigrants coming over here because somebody said, hey, this is a welcoming place. I can come over, I can leave my place and come over here. That's not happening. So yeah, I just think we need to, forget about, like I said, people are all caught up in this, and let's get at the core root of the issue. You know, People are disillusioned and it's coming to roost. And like I said, something else is going on. You're not happy. Like I said, I want to do this weightlifting thing because I want to feel better about myself. What made you feel bad about yourself in the first place? What made and then so that didn't work. So now I gotta, I'm gonna do this other thing and I'm gonna do this. So yeah, but I think that's you know, and this is tied into the whole problem of yeah, people, whether, when you grow up, things will get better. When you get older, things will get better. When you get that first job, things will get better. You get this education, learn to read, things will get better. You just the disillusion going on. People just it's coming to roost. And I don't know if how much therapy we can all endure to get over this disillusion. So yeah, and I think that's if we keep it that way, then we take out all the other stuff about race and about Republican versus Democrats, left versus right. Either both sides are disillusioned.
Yeah.
That's everybody's disillusioned right now. Unless Elon Musk with $1 billion in the stock market. So yeah.
Um,
What's funny too? Oh, this is what I really learned. This is what I really learned. Because I got a Tesla, right?
I know you got a Tesla, and then we gotta wrap it up because I do have something at 10:30.
So, sorry. Oh, so this is the whole thing. As I'm driving today, because all Teslas are the same. They're not, you can't modify them. There's really
Right.
no modifications for them, you know? And so it's you got to think about that thing about what is Elon Musk doing? Basic colors, not really outlandish, not. And like I said, the Tesla next year is no better than the Tesla I'm sitting in. You talk about making things equal. That's how you make things equal. Give everybody the same shit.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because most cars can be you can option they can be modified.
Yeah.
I want this, I can make it my personality. But with Teslas, nah, that's the wheels you get, that's the color you get, black or white, da da da. The same screen, you can't make the screen any bigger, any smaller, so forth and so forth. And I don't think there's a lot of options out there to personalize the car. Amazing.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Think about that for a second. What he's doing to society. Think about it.
Right.
Craziness.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back with episode 2. next week.
I'm gonna say episode 10.
Episode 10. Right, bye.